Last time, on Madness Calls It Forth. Alchemy. The journey to enlightenment. The magnum opus. The godlike avatars that run a city consumed by mist. The team is drawn down the labyrinth mansion of Armand Kai, an alchemist and dark, powerful enemy, stripping the heroes of the city of their mystical essence for his own nefarious purposes. What does the elixir of life have to do with our cast? We watch again as Job attempts to interact with a tincture of our broken friend Martha the Banshee, and see Father John crumple in pain. That scene fades and we watch the team stumble into the enclave of Armand Kai, and we hear his voice again. I've been expecting you. You are the last ingredient.
Gray times are changing. This is the end of everything, but it's hard to say goodbye. In my dreams, we were meant to be, but everything feels wrong. Just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. Just doesn't feel right. Just doesn't feel
Good evening and welcome to TPK Roleplay for our 7th episode of Madness Calls It Forth, a City of Mist campaign based on the Knights of Paynetown. Before we begin, this is a content warning. Knights of Paynetown is a dark, noir-style campaign written by Son of Oak Studio and deals with issues like violence, emotional trauma, death, suicide, among other disturbing themes. This particular episode has warnings for aging, gore, destruction, and potential emotional trauma, and as is the nature with stories, the campaign has historical, religious, and contemporary allusions that some viewers might find disturbing. Please note that those of us around the virtual table have given our consent to explore these topics together as respectfully as we can. However, if you, the viewer, should feel uncomfortable at any point, please make sure to step away, get some air, stretch your legs, and check in on us again later. For more information on mental health services available to you, use !get help. Tonight's episode is The Tower. We join our adventurers back where we left them last episode as they enter Armand Kai's enclave in the Canceliate Manor. The room is filled with beakers and glass vials of every shape and size, and a man in his late 70s stands attending to various instruments and bottles and alchemical formula. What do you do?
He had just said something to us, yes?
He had said, I've been expecting you. You are the last ingredient. He seems totally nonplussed by your entrance, and in fact just continues to work as he does.
Well, I hate to disappoint you, Iron Chef, but we ain't going into no recipe.
But don't you see? This could be my final creation. This could be what all my life's work has led towards. Just imagine it. There has to be a cure, not only for Corbin, but for death itself. I just need more time. I need more power. I could promise you eternal life to you.
That's funny.
Wouldn't that be nice, Ami Ortelia? To save the ones we love from the imminence of death.
She's just going to look around the room and give a very sassy 20-something look over at both Lexi and John, as if knowing that he is trying to prompt her to answer and she is not going to.
Well, it's a shame if you won't give in willingly, but obviously there are solutions to that.
What are you trying to help Corbin Payne with? Isn't he like a god or something at this point?
A god! No, you misunderstand the magnum opus. The transformation of soul. No. Corbin is not a god. He is an avatar. True story. Only that. He is nothing more than the pain that festers in his soul. But there is a state of completion where mythos and myths join together as one. A true enlightenment. The final fourth stage. And life everlasting. He may control this city through his torment. But if I can just live forever, there is a chance that I can use that power to heal him of his pain. Don't you see? And he turns behind him and directs you to look at a large golden basin. It is floating above an altar of sorts, around which is a moat of red liquid. And he turns back to you and says, "The elixir of life, it's so close. He has the Grail, but not the knowledge to bring it to fruition. This is more than just saving my life. It is saving everyone's. But I just need your gift, Father John."
Oh. So, yeah, I mean, I'll be the first to admit that eternal life and not dying ain't as cracked up as it sounds like it'd be at first, but I'm not gonna let it end this way.
As I said,
I thought too hard to be here.
well, it's certainly a shame, but I will be the one to reach life everlasting. You will give it to me.
Son, the only thing I'm gonna give you is a lesson in disappointment.
I'm sorry. I saw pictures of you not 25 minutes ago, from almost 100 years ago. You're telling me that you haven't already achieved eternal life? I don't get it.
He hobbles, and you can tell that this man, while much older than he should be, has still aged quite a lot. He may be prolonging his life, but he can tell that death is coming for him any minute now. He is old and gray, but you can tell, as you said, that something has changed a little bit. That he is definitely doing something. And he fumbles with some vials that he holds around his neck and says, yes, they've worked, but they're not perfect. They're not correct. I've been working for as long as I can, but it eludes me still. I have the tincture of life everlasting, but not of invincibility. That is what I need. The outside world is a dangerous place. I could die in an instant, no matter how long I live beyond.
John,
Yep.
correct me if I'm wrong.
Shoot.
I'm not you. I don't know how long you've been living with all this.
Too long.
Have you aged? You know, like gray hairs, wrinkles, crow's feet.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Aging happens. That's... But,
But you can't die, can you, Father John?
not for lack of trying, but yeah.
Exactly. Just think, what has your gift given you other than torment? I seek to end torment. I just need time.
I mean, you haven't done it however long you've been doing this, 100 years or so. What makes you think another year, another couple decades, anything like that's gonna help?
He slams his palms on the work table in front of him and says, I am the greatest alchemical mind this world has seen. In just this time alone, I have found a way to uncover a mythical being in a normal, ordinary person. I can push back the mist and reveal a person's true nature. If I can do that, what's to say I can't meet the alchemical final goal?
I mean, it just sounds like you're trying too hard, man. I mean, you've got a whole library of magical essence around here, and that's not helping you so far. So, what makes you think I'm so special that that's going to change anything?
He looks directly into your eyes, John, and mechanically, he has sharp 3. You can tell this is a man who is incredibly knowledgeable to an perhaps beyond the extent that he says. He is not lying.
I mean, I don't doubt that he isn't, but I'm trying to annoy him into giving information.
Obviously.
Ami, you went to like a fancy college, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever talk about like what is aging without death?
Probably at some point, but I feel like maybe you should enlighten everybody.
I don't know. I don't know what aging is without death. That's the thing. I know like Bram Stoker kind of touched on that with Dracula, but like I didn't really vibe with the whole the way that, you know how there's journals and then there's letters. I didn't finish the thing, so I can't say. But if you age forever and never die, wouldn't you just end up like riddled with osteoporosis? I'm already dealing with that, and I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you the number of calcium supplements I'm taking.
Oh yeah, no, arthritis is a bitch. Believe me. Like, especially when you try to punch somebody, it hurts like hell.
Ami, get old, but start taking calcium now.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
fish
yeah.
oil. Fish oil
I-
too, for the joints is very good.
To be fair, I do take a multivitamin.
It's a good start, hon. That's a real good start.
Thank you.
The specter of
While
death is
she's
coming
saying-
for me any moment now, and you are wasting my time.
Hey, keep interrupting us talking, and it's gonna come for you a little quicker than that.
I don't think I'm the one that needs to be worried. And he's going to take a step back. He steps over the moat that surrounds his altar and begins tinkering again with his chemicals.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to stop this guy. He's a bit far gone, and frankly, I'm not ready to die. I've just gotten used to being alive and accepting that.
And he speaks up finally at last and says, "Now, it is almost complete. Bring me my final ingredient." And from the moat, the red liquid starts to form a shape. It rises up out of the moat and starts to create legs and then hips, a waist, and arms. And the visage of a gorgeous woman made entirely of bright red liquid forms out of this acidic sea that he is protected by. And in a whirl of liquid as it splashes out onto the surface of the work area, we see the Aqua Regia as it approaches you all.
I'm sorry, is this like a body for you? Because like I don't want to like offend you or anything. I'm just trying to understand. Like a lady? Are you a... Why has it gotta be a lady? Spins the chamber on her revolver.
So this woman is going to take a step and then start running at the three of you. She's going to aim specifically for Job. How do you respond?
Brace myself, I guess, and I've dealt with tougher.
So it sounds like you are going to face danger, to use your abilities to avoid an incoming hit, endure harm, resist a malign influence, or hold it together. I'm going to name a status with its tag and tier, and you'll roll plus power. Let me know which tags you're going to use for this roll, because that's going to affect what happens.
Okay. I was gonna do nothing left to lose, devil may care, can't take my life and soul, and endure any punishment.
How many tags is that?
4.
If you fail, you will get vaporized 4.
What if I use less tags? Okay. Yeah, so face danger then?
Yep.
Cool. Let's, Hey, great success. 10.
Okay. On a 10 plus, you fend off the effect and take no status at all. However, I do need to... which of those were your mythos tags?
Can't take my life and soul and endure any punishment.
Any mythos power activated at or near the Aqua Regia while she is not contained is immediately dissolved. Before it is activated, burn all of the power tags used in the action. So I'm going to ask that you burn both of your mythos tags.
Well, shit. All right, we're gonna do this old school then.
Here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Has this guy got like a really big bell jar?
Sure. If you want to change the game to introduce giant bell jar into the game, you totally can.
I would love to look around the room and find anything that will help. So yeah, I'll change the game. It's me. Okay. Catch, overlook details. Eye for detail. Yeah, those are the only two that really make sense here. Change the game. That's a great success with power 2.
Okay.
So I've got a big bell. I have a giant bell jar for
Okay.
2.
So you can create a story tag, that would be bell jar 1. And then if you want to give or reduce a status to someone, or do one of the 10 plus effects for the great success, let me know what you're looking at, and I'll work that into the narration.
What would prolong the effects do here?
As it says, make it ongoing, I would say that it would increase the length of time you can capture something in this bell jar before it can escape.
Okay. Contained. Contained is such an interesting word.
It could mean other forms of contained.
It could mean other forms of contained, but it's definitely a start. Can I actually just do this to put a rubber seal on the bottom so she can't get out once I put it on top of her? Like, she can't, like, liquefy?
Okay, that makes sense.
That's my bigger concern. She can punch her way out if she wants. I don't care. Okay. I'm gonna write down bell jar with rubber seal. Somehow. Okay. So that's made. I don't know if I can do anything with it immediately. Besides try to stick it on her, I guess. Okay. Ami, give me a hand. And I point at the big bell jar.
Ami is looking for a way to get to over the moat and to the homie guy.
Okay.
That was what she was planning on doing anyways.
Okay.
While you are preparing this giant bell jar, Ami, what are you doing?
Yeah, she was trying to find a way to get to over the moat and through the woods to this guy's house we go.
Armand is gonna look at you quickly and sharply with pure agony in his eyes. This is a man that's been tormented by the oncoming of death his entire life, and you look into his eyes. You're going to take apprehensive 2 as he connects with you and says, "Don't you see it? It's coming for us all. There's no escaping death, but I might have the answer. Can't you see?" Apprehensive 2 will be a status that's going to affect you negatively if you try to attack him in some way. But what is your tactic to get over this moat?
Well, I would like to use my speed to run as quickly as possible right over the tippy top. Bing, 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 bing.
Are you trying to walk on water with your speed?
Essentially.
Okay. It sounds like you are trying to sneak around. Feel free to roll plus power on that. Actually, sneak around is a really annoying little mechanic because it's not exactly great for everything that it's supposed to be good for. Let's just say take the risk, which is more general.
An 11. A great success.
Damn.
I
on
do
a
it
10 plus,
somehow.
exactly. Were any of those tags your Mythos power tags?
Yeah.
I want you to burn one of those power tags because you have to have touched the Aqua Regia, the water that surrounds this moat, in order to get there. But now you are on the other side of it, facing off against Armand Kai.
Yeah. I'm going to shout to John and Lexi. I was probably the wrong person for this job. And then just walk up his little like ramp. I'm assuming it's like an accessibility ramp because of his aging. And I'm literally just gonna start like knocking over bottles.
He's going to be outraged by this as he quickly tries his best to grab the last remaining bottles he needs for his experiment. And he's going to find his hand on a knife. You can tell it's very intricately carved and it has gold in the hilt and on the whatever it's called. Scabbard? No, that's not it. Anyway. Pummel, yes. He points it directly at you, as if trying to make you back up. Don't you dare touch me. Don't you understand? You're wasting it all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to touch you. And I'm just gonna like keep pushing and knocking things over and like moving closer to him. Keeping my hand on the strap of my fashionable bag, which is one of my tags.
It is.
Because as Ami has been doomsday prepping for the last 2 episodes, she now carries one very small dagger on the chest of her fashionable bag. It's not really like a dagger, it's more like one of those giant buck knives that you see when people have to like cut down trees in the woods and build a fort.
Like full on from what's it called? Bass Pro Shops kind of thing. Just giant hunting knife.
Yeah, it's completely out of character and she has no idea how to use it, but she has it because she watched a video on some very weird website that she was on one night that suggested you should have a weapon at the end of days.
Is it on the Dink web?
Somewhere on the dank web, yeah.
He's going to push his hand to the side that has the knife, and instead he's going to clench his fist in front of you. I'm then going to ask you to face danger as he tries to melt the knife you are holding and burn your hands. You'd be taking burnt 3.
Okay, so I'm confused. He's holding a knife and a bottle, and
No.
also my knife and bottle. Wait, I'm explaining.
He's holding a knife. It seems like
Correct.
a decorative knife of some kind. But he has the power of all the other alchemists to control elements. So he clenches his fist and makes some alchemical movements and attempts to melt the knife you are holding from where he is. So you are rolling to face danger against the magic of his alchemical practice.
Okay. Do I get to use any tags on that or no?
Yeah, as it's the same as always, just not any of the tags you've burned.
Okay. That was a 10.
Okay, that's still a great success. So you do not take the move, but and you feel as the knife in your hand heats up, as if it's been slowly been heated by fire. Explain to me what you do to prevent him from getting to you.
Yeah, she's not really trying to get him to not get to her. She is mostly just going to try to kill him with said dagger if he was going to attack her. She was not thinking that that was how this was going to go. But if he makes like an action such as burning her hand or attempting to burn her knife apart, then she will just attack him out of pure fear and terror, mostly.
Okay. What are you attacking him with? With the knife?
Yeah, that she was holding.
Okay. Please roll to hit with all you've got, but remember to take -2 for apprehensive.
Yes. Okay. An 11.
I don't. So super speed should have been I believe this one you burned, didn't
Oh,
you?
just kidding.
Also,
Yeah,
I'm not sure
sorry,
how
I
fashionable
flipped
carry all
those
back
backwards.
counts. Oh, I guess it counts as you having the knife. But anyway, that's still a 10.
I flipped those, by the way. That was my fault. I somehow marked the wrong ones.
You're fine.
So they are now flipped back.
You're gonna tell me a status you want to give him with tier equal to power. And then you get to choose 2 of the items below.
Okie doke. Am I still muted? No. Okay. 2 of the items below.
So the ones that are listed in the chat, but also in the core moves page you have in your documents.
Yeah, I'm reading them. So unless my team has a good idea for a tag, I can't think of anything right off the top of my head.
Maybe disarmed. Was he using the knife to do his alchemical stuff, or?
No.
I don't know. Oh, okay.
You know, there's rarely anything wrong with giving somebody like the prone tag.
I'm good with that. A prone
leg
tag
on me.
would work. Yeah. That'll be good.
So that's what, prone 3?
Yes.
And what were the 2 you wanted to pull from the extra effects?
I'll get them good
Okay.
and control the collateral damage.
What collateral damage are you controlling?
I would like to say to him, turn your fucking friend off. Turn off the weird red machine. And I'm panicking and shaking and holding the knife again, as if I'm gonna do a stab action one more time.
So he is down on the ground and he has his hands held up in front of him. He has dropped his mystical knife. But I would like to first see what happens with our friends in the other room as you are fighting him. Either John or Lexi, what are you doing?
You said that this thing is like acidic.
Yes, you can tell that. You can tell just from how close you were to being hit by it that the Aqua Regia is, in fact, a seething form made entirely of basically the world's strongest acid. And when you were grazed by it, you felt like it had consumed your mythos, little portions of it. This thing is incredibly dangerous and could very easily take away your mythos essence.
Yeah, I was wanting to see if maybe there's like something, because it's a chemical reaction that it's doing it with. So I was wondering if like chemical reaction would work in our favor and see if there's like any base thing, or can I like change the game and just pull out my gigantic bottle of Tums that I have in my back pocket because of my acid reflux.
If you change the game, I can say you can find something in this room to fight it with.
All right. Oh, I still have the Martha card from last time.
I believe you left that tincture in the room, though.
Right. I just noticed it was still on my thing though. Okay. I'm trying to find like. Okay, I'm gonna do catched overlooked details. Nothing left to lose because he's kind of desperately trying to like think of something with this like dumb idea that he has. And probably devil may care because I'm like gonna try and like bolt for an idea. So change the game.
Yep.
9, mild success.
Okay, you're gonna get juice equal to power to do one of the 3 items that are listed in Change the Game.
I guess create story tag.
Mm-hmm.
Like base materials.
Sounds good. And then you're going to use the base materials on the Aqua Regia, so I guess you could say that that's a +2 to your the status you're going to give.
Okay.
You can keep the juice for later on because you now have this, let's say, like lab strength base material.
Yeah.
And so if you want to try to use that against the Aqua Regia, I'll let you.
Yeah.
But
John
first,
has those. John has like just a prescription Tums. Like this is the stuff you cannot get over the counter.
So what are you doing with your omeprazole?
I guess go toe to toe.
I'd say-
Or
Is it? You could also be using ammonia because that's pretty basic.
oh,
That makes more sense.
okay, yeah. So he finds like a bunch of like bottles of stuff, and he just starts
Or even just soap.
hucking it.
Soap's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even just like baking soda, right? Oh no, my color.
feel free to go toe-to-toe against this thing and describe how that looks.
All right. So since we're kind of in this big lab, I assume there's like shelves of like just different things everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and I like struggled to think back to my like basic chemistry from high school, and then kind of like I don't know what I'm doing, but I think this should work. And I run and like start looking at like all these different like bottles of things, and I see it. And what was it? The chemical you said it was
Ammonia.
Ammonia.
which I didn't realize was a base.
It's like that and drain cleaner.
Oh.
Very far on the base scale. I just don't
And-
think he'd have a bottle of drain cleaner out.
and
You know,
I guess-
the drains in these alchemical labs, they're not what they used to be.
I mean, he's got to do something with the bodies, right?
So you can use your story tag, ammonia, and add that to your go toe-to-toe as well.
Okay. That is a story tag. So ammonia 1, is it?
Yep.
Or? Okay. make sure I've got my things good to go. And then we said go toe to toe. Or actually, would it be hit it with all you've got?
Either way, whatever you think is more appropriate.
All right. So
They
he
both
grabs
do
like a
sort of the same thing.
All right. So he grabs like a bottle of ammonia, like takes like a pen out of his pocket, like stabs a bunch of holes in it real quick, and then he like chucks it at this thing.
Okay.
And that is an 11.
I really gotta stop letting you use so many tags.
I've only got one Mythos tag I can use. I got to hold on to that.
So give me a tier equal. Give me a status with tier equal to power.
Weakened. Weakened 4.
Okay, that makes sense. Because you have heard it in such a way, it's going to split and vaporize a little bit. And so you'll see it kind of contract away from you. And it's going to reapproach the basin where it came from to draw strength from the remaining Akaregia. What were you doing?
I'm gonna put the bell jar over it.
I assumed as much.
I have hefted this bell jar as if I'm going to capture the thing, and then I'm like, wait. And sorry, Chrissy, this is gonna be a cage match now. Yeah, I'm gonna drop that bell jar right over the moat.
Okay. That sounds like you're also either going toe to toe or hitting with all you've got, so go ahead and let me know.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me know which tags you're using.
Cool. I'm using always watching our backs, guns and bludgeons, because this is a big bludgeon, essentially. Mm-hmm. And I'm using the bell itself as the third tag to go toe to toe. That's a 14.
Sounds pretty good to me. So you have tier equal to power.
Yeah, so I achieved the thing that I wanted to do. Mm-hmm.
Which was capturing the thing inside your bell jar.
Yeah. And I would love to block, dodge, or counter their best attempts. Specifically dodge, because I see that this thing is, like, acidic, ouchy, and trying to, like, drain us of power.
Okay.
I was curious, and I don't mean to interrupt, but like, what happens if all of our Mythos power tags get burned? Is there like a consequence to that? Or?
There is a consequence in this encounter, but normally it wouldn't do much. You just wouldn't be able to use them.
Okay, so this specific thing.
Yep. So what was your status again? You gave it.
Who were you asking?
I did not give it a status.
Oh, okay. Okay. You did have an option to do 2 of them though. So you achieve your goal, and you dodge their accounts. So got it. Okay.
Yeah. My goal was to separate it from the rest of its soup.
Okay. Back to you, Ami. He looks you in the eyes. And, what do you say to him as he is sitting on the ground with you?
I was yelling at him to basically call off his minion.
Mm-hmm. He is whimpering. He's saying, no, I can't. You don't understand. And actually, while your back is turned, he slams his fist into the ground, and a sheet of rock erupts from underneath you. I need you to face danger once again with any tags that would help you escape danger. Like a dexterity kind of check. So let me know what kind of things you would use there.
I probably have just act before it happens.
Okay, sounds good. Damn,
11.
you guys are rolling so good. As the ground starts to shake underneath you, you feel it and you connect with him, and in that instant, you step directly over him, and it shoots behind you, with your own knife against his neck, his chest, and the slight singe where the knife was originally burning. He looks at you and says, "No, please stop. I'll end it now." And just like that, he waves his hands in the air, and the Aqua Regia falls to the ground in a collapse and fills the bottom of the bell jar. And just like that, it is turned back into just liquid.
Can I get to where Ami and he are, or?
Yes, I'd say you can.
Okay.
He is
run over.
whimpering. He's nearly crying, just saying, "Please don't do it to me, please. You must understand me, please."
Yeah, Ami's becoming more and more unhinged. So she's going to be pressing that knife significantly harder into that man's chest. And probably shaking significantly while she's doing so. Not necessarily to, like, kill him, but she is on the verge.
I think that's when John's gonna step in and, like, all of a sudden, like Ami's like shaking her hand with, like, the hand on the hilt, and he's gonna, like, put his hand over hers. Look, you don't have to do this, kid. Because I just punctualize we still have questions for this asshole.
It's not something you can ever take back.
She is going to uncomfortably drop the knife and walk away.
I think with that, John grabs this guy by the scruff of the neck and, like, hauls him towards the moat of water. And I go, "You gotta answer some questions, otherwise we're just gonna go ahead and baptize you right here and now. How do you like that?"
It's my life's work. I will find the elixir of life.
That ain't how things are supposed to work.
But why can't it be?
Why do you think it's going to help Corbin Payne?
Why do you want to help Corbin Payne?
Give me 1 second while I flip through the book real quick and find the right information. Nope. Okay. Nope. The wrong way.
That's really in a different spot in the book, huh?
It's in like 7 different places. Here we are.
Answer me.
He has powers. Unbelievably so. And you know from experience dealing with Dr. Crystal Knight that he probably as well has a power, an infliction of a type, similar to your secret pain, Lexi, but at a legendary level. Armand Kai has the dolorous stroke, a pain so deep into his psyche that it has consumed his life. And so you can tell just from the frantic ramblings that he is deathly afraid of, well, death. And so it has consumed his entire eternal life to solve it. But you also know from Crystal Knight that it was Corbin Payne who would have given him this immense pain. And so he will look at you and Lexi, and he'll relate a tale. You see, I've always sought. Life everlasting is simply the ultimate goal, but the power and knowledge and understanding of the world is far more. I went to Corbin Payne when I sought out the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail contains a powerful elixir. The water in the Grail can, when used correctly, grant the truest form of life after life everlasting. Return to the God King, according to my theories, a combination with mist and mythos together as one. Don't you see, the Holy Grail could be the answer to all of my research. And yet, I was too late. He controlled it and destroyed me in one moment. And with that, he's going to cry out in pain and agony as he even starts talking about Corbin Payne. Like last time, this is going to require a... someone's shuffling around. This is going to take a stop holding back move to bring him out of his dolorous stroke pain. I've said the word pain like 17 times. But to get more information out of him, I'm going to need one of you to roll stop holding back.
I'll take care of it.
Okay. When you use your powers in a new and never before seen way, you're going to explain to me how you're going to control his fear of death in some way and push back the dolorous stroke for this scene. The MC will tell you the sacrifice it'll take from you. You're going to roll plus logos, and on a hit, you'll get what you want. This is going to take a no return sacrifice, please.
Okay. And is that just adding the tags that I can?
You're adding plus logos. So roll the number of logos cards you have. And this can be narrative or powerful. Up to you how you want to see this scene play out.
Finally having a lot of logos helps out. Okay.
Yes, it does.
So I've got 3 cards, so it's adding 3 to it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And can I add the juice that I got as well?
If it's related, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess I just try to like relate with him. Like, look, I don't know what he did to you, I don't know what you're going through all this insanity for. Like, you talk a game about life and wanting to expand life and the possibility of life. Tell me, how many vials out there contain the life of people that you stole it from? You ever think of that? What you're doing is taking life in order to give yourself life? I gotta ask you, what kind of life is that? Just because you think you're so high and mighty, just because you think you're the most important person. How many people out there have people that they were important to, or have people important to them that they're probably never gonna see again? And you're aligning yourself with some monster named Corbin Dallas just a white, so you can rot your soul just a little bit more. Yeah, you might live forever, but you also have to live with that forever. And do you think you could do that? And what kind of life is that to live? And I guess we'll stop holding back.
Mm-hmm.
An 11. Oh, thank God.
Could you roll some bad moves, please? On a 10 plus, you're going to mark Fade or Crack and burn all the power tags on one of your themes, whichever you feel is most appropriate.
Father figure. That's compassion, have a heart-to-heart, and listen to son. God, that's better than the 2 I rolled last time I stopped holding back. Not as flashy, but I'll take it.
Gotcha. So you're going to burn those power tags as you try to tap into basically the core, like, humanity of this man. You can tell just from what happens in his expression that in his heart of hearts, Armand does care more about than just himself. He has a true passion for seeking the truth that goes beyond selfishness, but it was overshadowed by his survival instinct, an instinct that was put into overdrive by the dollar's stroke. These two forces, his earnest search and his will to live, are both still inside him. He looks at you and then reaches out on the ground for the knife and holds it very cautiously towards you. I sought knowledge and information, and it brought me to this, and this is what brought me to Corbin Payne. If I could, I would go back and never, ever visit that man. But I was too consumed by my desire for more that I had to visit him. But be careful. Once activated, you can never return. You can never visit his enclave more than once. It is a dark and terrible place. But perhaps going there you'll understand Corbin Payne just a little more. He is more powerful than you have any ability to control. But just maybe you might be the one.
Help us end this cycle. Help us put a stop to this from happening to others. Give your life some actual meaning.
What are you trying to convince him to do?
Give us any information he can on this guy.
Okay.
And also stop with all the soul sucking or whatever it is he's doing.
Gotcha. Give me 1 second. What he'll tell you is I can control this. No more than anyone can. He consumes my every fear. You can only bring him back from beyond the point of no return if you have healed more than he has. I've never made it past even the blackening stage of the magnum opus. Revealing your pain and revealing your darkest secrets is the first step, and I haven't even made that one. Make those steps. Find what he is doing to control you, your secret pain, and control it. Without that, you have no chance. Against the city, against the mist, against Corbin, against the chaos that consumes this entire city. Understand that. I once had noble intentions, but I am no longer in control. It's my fear that controls me. And with that, he breaks down again. He sobs into the ground, and you can tell that he is overwhelmed with with emotions that he has no control over. He has told you all that he knows, and he places the decorative dagger on the ground beside him. And
I'll take that.
And I think that's where we end this scene for now. We're going to go on a quick break, and we'll be back very shortly. But we have much more information to discover, and a few more very dangerous things to face off. We'll see you momentarily. Hello, and welcome back to TPK Roleplay. My name is Proper Nerdy. I'm your game master for this evening, and we are playing City of Mist. This is Madness Calls It Forth. Last we left our adventurers, they had taken down Armand Kai, and are now discussing what to do with him before they move on. So, who starts the conversation?
So what are we gonna do with him? I mean, we could try to see if there's anything here that we can use to get him locked away. He was running some murder cult.
I don't think prison helps a person, much less a person like him. But if he's like us, he has a mythos. He's got a way to take it away, and then he'll just be like a normal guy, right?
I mean, unless doing so, rapidly ages him like he looked in the Ark of the Covenant. Hey you, what are we gonna do with you?
Please, I can finish my research. I don't need you. I can find something else.
When you say something else, do you mean someone else?
The powers that are contained within the people of this city.
See, I'm gonna stop you right there. You take away powers. How do you can you give it back to them?
I have never been interested in giving anything back. That's not the point.
I mean, usually a life's purpose is involving giving back to the community.
I will give back to the community once I have solved the final question.
And how much of the community do you use up for that?
That entirely depends on whose powers I can take.
If taking away his power kills him, then it kills him. But he's gonna keep hurting people like this.
When the red liquid hit me, did it like physically like acid away, or was it just more of the whole spiritual affecting my mythos?
I would say you could tell just from interacting with it that it would consume your mythos, and if it had actually hit you, you may have been in a lot more danger than you are now right now. You can also, if you want me to remind you of some of the other parts of his particular cult, you can piece some things together.
Yes.
So you remember from the very first episode and the room you walked through, he has a way to extract mythos entirely and contain it in a vial.
Let's do that.
Speaking of, I'm gonna look for some like chemistry tongs, and I'm gonna go. As we walk by, I'm gonna grab the vial that had the banshee essence
Okay.
with the tongs, because I remember last time I touched it.
Yep.
Unpleasant. I think while we are sorting that out and figuring out how to run him through that process, Lexi is gonna get Ami's attention and... Ami, what's going on?
What do you mean, what's going on?
He said something like, "You've seen it." And you know, I think it's prudent to have... And she reaches into her bra and pulls out the little chip to bring these everywhere, but what else do you have in that bag? Something's wrong.
Yeah. Yep. You're right. There's a whole bunch wrong. There's a whole bunch wrong. And I've seen what happens. I have the ability to see into what I can only understand as the future. So I am preparing accordingly.
Why didn't you say anything to us?
Well, to be fair, nobody's really asked me much.
We're a team, Ami, and look, you can feel any way you want about me, but Celine and John, none of us want you to go through this alone. And I know if something's eating you up, any of us would be willing to listen and to help. You don't have to carry it by yourself.
She's going to just kind of go silent for a second, and you're going to see her kind of swallow something down. And she's going to like turn back and like look at you and John and Celine, if Celine is present, because I'm assuming she is.
I did forget to mention that Luca Locke is currently under the weather today, but I have been given permission to control Celine in any way that we need to, as we see fit. But Celine is still around.
Yeah. She's going to kind of like look at everybody and like look at this guy. Yeah, you know, we talk about being a team, but we don't quite act like a team. So when you throw words out like that, it's a little bit hard to believe that that's really what's happening. So I struggle sometimes, and you're going to see her try to like swallow it down because she's like getting more and more amped up. I
Ami,
struggle.
as you swallow that thought, you look back at Armand Kai and he starts speaking to you. He says, "You've seen it, haven't you? The slow creep toward death. Slowly you lose your mind, and then your faculties. And then all at once, those around you that you loved forget about you one after another. Death is all-consuming."
I grab him by the scarf and I'm like, do we want him talking more?
No.
I knock him out.
Ami, I need you to roll to face danger. Depending on how you roll, you are going to take the status Paralyzed by Fear of Death 5.
You're muted.
I will take that full status.
Wow, you rolled a 4. Damn. As you see Job pick up this man and knock him out, you suddenly have flashbacks to the last few coherent memories you have of your grandmother before her sickness started to consume her. Give me a memory that you flash back to.
Probably one of Ami and her baking in the kitchen. Like her actually being upright out of bed, talking, coherent. And they're just, baking cookies and just spending time together.
Is this before or after she was diagnosed with her disease?
After, but still functioning before she got very ill.
And she looks at you as you're mixing, and you laugh about some joke that at this point you can't remember quite what it was. It's been so long that those times seem so far behind. But you remember that the way she looked in those moments, you both tried to avoid talking about it in any shape or form, but you could tell every time you're with her that she was worried for you more than for herself about what was coming. And in those instances, and in this instant right now, those kinds of memories flood your brain, and suddenly all the things that he said up to this point about how close death is for all of you come rushing into you. How do you respond to that moment?
Yeah, she's just going to start screaming and probably buckle over, and it's probably a lot of, get the fuck away from me, sort of yelling. Like a child having a tantrum. Just balled up, yelling to just shut the fuck up, stop talking, everyone needs to stop talking.
Lexi is gonna give her space, but take away, just move anything that she could hurt herself on.
Lexi, as you give her space, what do you do with Armand Kai? I'll just say, I'm not going to make you roll for it. He is out cold because John has knocked him out. What do the two of you do? It can be either for Armand or it can be for Ami. Up to you.
Lexi is gonna pick up Armand and say, "It's on me, one way or the other. He's not gonna hurt anybody anymore. And I'm gonna take him elsewhere, but I'm going to take away his mythos."
Okay. So we see as you find a way to, now that the Aqua Regia is no longer being controlled by Armand, it has just fallen to the ground. And let's say you gently put him back into the moat that is filled with the Aqua Regia, and you watch as he starts to age up very quickly, as all of his mystical energy that he's been controlling dissipates, and the Aqua Regia coalesces around him until he is left alone in the bottom of the moat with a single vial of glowing red liquid on the ground next to him. You've created a tincture of the Master Alchemist Fulcanelli, and when Armand awakes, he will be fully a sleeper. Just like all of the other victims of the magnum opus you've seen thus far.
How old does he look?
He, not nearly as old as he should look, but well into his 90s.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the tincture, and I'm going to scoop him up. And it wouldn't happen now, but like as a cutaway at the end of the episode, we would see Lexi with like the same bag filled with rocks, just huck it into the ocean by the docks.
Okay. Father John, what are you doing in this moment as you watch Ami Ortilia collapse?
I walk over to her. I know I'm probably the last person that you want to talk to about this. And I don't blame you for, honestly, if you don't hate me, I would be surprised. Because I hurt you bad. I hurt everyone. But you're the one I never wanted to hurt. I wish I could take back everything I did and everything I didn't do. I wish we could go back to nights watching Netflix, but if that never happens, I get it. But I mean, I don't know, kid. If you can't talk to me as a friend, that's fine, but if you need someone to talk to professionally, I can do that, kind of. That's what I do for a living, or at least did for a living. Hell, if you don't want to talk to me at all, you just say the word and I won't, but God, I hate saying it like this, kid. I wish I could do something for you.
Ami is listening, and she is just laying there with her eyes closed, kind of attempting to live in whatever memory that he had given her about her grandmother.
I'll allow you to clear this status if you want to narratively decide how you get over this moment as a character.
So, Ami is just laying there currently, kind of doubled over.
In fact, I'd say that this would count as you discovering your secret pain if you want to discuss that with the audience.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, Ami is just laying there right now and she's listening to you guys. That's all she's doing. She is not probably hearing any of what you have to say because she's too focused on trying to live in the memory of what he provided to her, of this like very good memory of her grandmother and her, and finally being happy and like not having all of the stress of everything that's happening feel so overwhelming. And as soon as John or Lexi probably start talking to her, she's just going to kind of pull herself up from like probably curled up into a ball to like a seated position. And she's not going to look at anybody. She's not going to attempt to make eye contact. She has zero interest in any of that right now. And she's just very quietly going to say, before all of this, you know, Lexi was talking about teamwork and acting like a team. And the reality is for a really long time, I looked at you guys like you were my family. I didn't use the word team. And maybe that was wrong of me. Because the more I keep doing this, the more we keep rushing into these things, and the more we keep fighting these guys, and the more we keep acting this way, I realize, like, we might be on the same team, but we're not in the same family. We don't act like it. I don't know. For me to give a shit about any of this, it needs to be and feel a lot deeper than it does. And it needs to feel and be a lot more important than it is. Because right now, it's just us rushing from one thing to another and everybody jumping into the fire to see who burns first, without thinking about the rest of the family and how it'll affect them. And the reality is that maybe I shouldn't even care about what any of you are doing. Maybe I should just go back to caring about what I started with this. Because the only reason I followed any of these is to help somebody that I love. Someone from my family. And I thought we were all on the same page, but we're not. We haven't been from the beginning. And she's going to walk over to the like red pit of death, Mythos death or whatever. And out of her pocket, she's going to pull out a small rosary, and it's probably only about that big, a gift from her grandmother. And she's just going to toss it into the kind of like red stuff. And she's just going to get up and walk out of the room with no more words.
That was
Lexi's gonna stick her hand in and she's gonna grab it.
Glad you're doing it, because I was going to do it, and I knew that probably would have taken me out.
Ami, or actually Chrissy, I'm going to give you the option. Is it consumed, or can they take it back?
Oh, it was consumed. She has now, in her mind...
I do it anyway.
physically and symbolically pulled that apart from her. She is no longer doing this for her grandmother.
Do you remember what your secret pain is? How we
Not being
phrased-
able to help the ones I love.
Yep. So just like with Lexi and with Celine, you're going to add a tier 5 status of wounded for secret, or sorry, tier 6 status of wounded. And every time you work towards healing your secret pain, you're going to mark that down 1 tier and give yourself the next tier on the healed status. In fact, I would say because of that scene, I would give you 1 tier right now. So that's a tier 5 wounded and a tier 1 healed. And those spectrums are going to dictate your progress towards healing your secret pain. And anytime you feel it's narratively appropriate, you, Lexi, or Celine, Job, we have not gotten to yours yet, I don't believe. Anytime you feel it's narratively appropriate to work on that, you can introduce a scene like that and explain how your character is working towards enlightenment in some way. But that will be important later on down the road, as we are nearing we are in the second half of the series so far. We're going to fade out of this scene entirely. The last thing we see is Lexi putting her hand into the Aqua Regia just before it dissolves. And instead of grabbing the necklace, what I'm going to say is this is where we see the tincture for the first time. And just here before you are about to touch it, you see that the rosary beads are gone, and all that is left is the tincture of Armand Kai. Where do we want to have our next scene?
So Ami, as she was walking out, or she probably, to be fair, she would have honestly mentioned, at least to Celine, that she had received a message to go to the library, even if it was prior to the moment we are currently having.
I'd say that makes sense.
But I would have definitely, at a minimum, said something to Celine, because Celine's been keeping tabs kind of like extra super on me. And I believe they were also there when I got that message.
You got the message by yourself, but she was there with you while you were exploring Valyrians.
That's right. So I would have probably said something at least while we were leaving there. So I will kind of just coldly, unintentionally coldly, Ami will turn to everyone and give a heavy sigh and say, I got a message about going to the library, but I should warn everybody that the message said that to not come unprepared and to search your soul and cleanse your darkness. That's my next move, if you guys would like to join me.
I'm with you. but I don't really know
Lexi. I was just gonna say Lexi looks for words and then just nods.
Mechanically, I will say that the time between you leaving the Canceliot Manor and you arriving at the city library, we can count as a downtime if any of you want to do anything, such as clearing up, working on mysteries, or dealing with your identities, that kind of thing.
Eventually, I'm gonna have to figure out this my ultimate sadness or whatever. Although I guess, like, would we be going like right after mansion or?
So this is what I was saying, is that I feel like this break in scenes I would count as a downtime. So Ami would know that she needs to visit the library late at night. And I'm not totally sure where we ended up in the timeline last time, but I will say that it's probably early morning by the time you guys leave. So you have about a day before you are going to go visit the city library, and that should be enough time for you to recoup and to recover from your last activity, that kind of thing. So if any of you want to take the downtown montage scene and move and show us a scene of how you're recovering from all that just happened, let me know.
So I guess, like, as we walk out and like dawn is breaking, I'm like, so do we want to meet up at Lexi's tonight then, and we'll go from there?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know exactly how cleansed my soul is, but I guess we'll find out.
John,
Yeah.
I have something I want to give you before we see each other tomorrow.
What's that?
Just come by the bar before you go home.
Yeah, can do. And I guess we all kind of part ways there, and John's gonna head to the church
Okay.
with a secreted or like taken vial of banshee essence.
Okay. You find Martha there early at the church, getting ready, setting up for the day. She is surprised to see you and says, "Oh, John, welcome. Good morning."
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm well. The headaches are still powerful, but I'm working through it day by day.
And out of character and everything, she's no longer in that like stupor or like because like before she was kind of like vacant looking.
She's
she,
still
like,
very vacant, but it's been a few weeks since she was first consumed, and she's slowly drifting back into real life, but you can tell there's no... her like personality is basically gone at this point. She's just kind of a very plain... she's still very vacant. She is coping, I'll say.
But does she seem like have amnesia then? She doesn't remember.
She doesn't remember being a rift. She doesn't remember having powers. She doesn't even remember like the things that she did to other people. She is fully sleeper mode.
I've been meaning to talk to you since you've been getting better. I know you're still not able to remember everything. You said that you still kind of have like some... it's just kind of fuzz, right?
Every time I try to think back, I get these horrible migraines, and I don't know what it is I'm missing, but something tells me... I don't know. Maybe I don't want to remember.
And what if you did remember and you didn't like what you remembered? Just humor me,
Well, I guess it's my life.
hypothetically.
And if my life isn't as holy as I hope it will be, then perhaps it is my burden to carry, not anyone else's.
So John thinks back to like helping her work through her power and the training and stuff, and she still had that like sorrow that she was kind of dealing with, that was kind of encompassing her for what she did and what she can do. And maybe even though she was able to control it better, it still was getting her, like, up until the last time he fully saw the awakened Martha for the last time. I do gotta ask though, despite the gaps, the lapse, the fuzziness, are you happy?
She looks at you almost listless again, as if it's not like she doesn't understand what you're saying, but that the thought of being happy hadn't crossed her mind.
Like, what if you could remember and you didn't like what you remembered, but you were whole?
I don't know, John. Do you know something you're not telling me?
No. No, as theological questions, you know how it is when you're in the church. You're always thinking differently, theoretically, theologically, hypothetically.
If I did get my memories back, and I found that I was less well off than I am now, tell me, John, do you think God forgives those who have wronged, who are in pain, and lash out against others? If I was a wrongdoer in a past life, do you think there's hope for people like that?
I think if you wholeheartedly want to change, if you really wanted to change and you regretted anything that you did that you regretted, hell, I think just having that want to be better. I mean, I wouldn't be wearing this if I didn't think it. That I didn't forgive. But I think it's more important to forgive yourself. And then he'll throw in his 2 cents. That's what I hope, at least.
I hope so too, John. No, you must excuse me, I have to get ready for today's service.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a sermon to write.
She will place her hand on your cheek as her flowing hair kind of pools in the front of her body, and she says, if you ever need someone to talk to, if you feel that, I know you're the one who does confessions, but if you need someone else to speak to, let me know. It should not be your misery alone for you to bear. There are others. You have a family here in the church.
Put my hand on hers and be like, I know, but and I kind of look at her in the eyes and maybe try to see that spark that I saw the last time I tell her what I tell her next. But I can take it.
You hope to see a little something of what she once was, and you don't.
Hey, you get back to rehearsal. Can't wait to hear you all on Sunday.
My voice is improving.
You'll be an angel, singing like an angel in no time.
Lexi, what are you doing during this time? And John, while she is thinking, if this is one of you doing one of your
Yeah.
downtime activities, let me know what it is, so we can you can either add attention or something like that.
So, I just want to say, so after she leaves, I take the vial out with a cloth, and I just kind of put it in the back of a drawer in my desk, wrapped up still. And maybe the last thing that we see is him pulling out an envelope that says John with Lexi's handwriting on it before we fade to the next scene.
I think
I want you to take attention to Devil Take It All, because I feel like you are closer to answering your mystery. What is the purpose of my suffering?
Okay.
I think when we cut to Lexi, we see her writing more letters. First, what we see is her, like, lying in bed, completely unable to sleep, alone in her apartment. Celine might have offered to have her over, but she declined. She wanders her kitchen. She sits at the table. She opens her phone, scrolls to Ami, puts it down, writes a letter, throws it away. And she looks out over the city, kind of off in the direction of the church. And I think all she manages to do is there's a text sent at like 3 or 4 a.m. And it's to Ami, and it says, "If it needs to be family, then that's what it is. I want to make this right. I'm sorry for everything." And that doesn't help her sleep. But she doesn't pick up another letter. And she doesn't pick up her phone again. She goes for a walk down to the docks. Finds a pile of bricks. Breaks it down into rubble with her hands to toss that vial into the ocean. And the next day we see her knuckles bloodied and bruised, smoking a cigarette on the stoop of the mere.
Now, narratively, this is when John reads your letter that you gave, that you had written last time, correct?
Actually, can I say
100%.
something?
Yeah.
My thought is, I don't know if I want to read it yet. If it might just be something that, like, he shows up and, like, basically gives you the letter back unopened. When we do meet.
Okay. Okay. We'll play that out.
And I don't know if we do that now or we want to move on to Ami. I assume moving on to Ami.
proper?
then we can-
Make a call.
Up to you. I say we're talking about it now. Let's do it now.
Okay. Yeah, so you find Ami. She's sitting on the stoop. Her knuckles look pretty fucked up.
Lexi?
And it doesn't. Or sorry, Lexi. That's me. I'm Lexi.
There is no vermin, only Lexi.
Her knuckles are pretty fucked up. It doesn't look like she slept at all. Yeah. And I guess there's like a cigarette tray, and it's full, and she has like two empty packs by her feet.
So, can I hold out the envelope? Want to talk about this? And I toss it to you, showing that it hasn't been opened yet. I know you probably want me to read it, but I haven't. I need to learn to talk more, I guess. And look, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on, but I'm honestly losing all of you is like the worst thing that could happen to me. It happened already once before. And if I'm screwing up and not being proactive, it's going to happen again, and I want to talk to you.
I don't know that I have the words, John. I don't know that I have the words.
I mean, they're right there. You had them at one point. Or would you prefer that I read it?
How much do you know about my dad?
You said he was into some shady shit. I assume it's pretty shady.
You remember in the months leading up to the accident? The car bomb?
I've told you about it. Yeah, you know.
He was the one threatening you. And John, I'd gone through so much shit. I pushed him. I saw this person who had everything, I thought. And I thought, why can't I have that too? And the person I saw, John, was you. And everything you had was your family, and I told him to take it away. I just told him to take them away from you.
I think instinctively you feel John's hands on your shoulder, like clavicle, whatever, clenching extremely tight. And then he just gets tighter and tighter, and then you feel him pull you in. And he pulls you into a hug. You
I don't think she hugs back. but like she doesn't push away either. Well, she doesn't hug back until she starts crying. And I think it's like the world is ending, weak knees, like uncontrollable sobbing.
So
I don't deserve to have anyone as good as you in my life. And I'm getting everything I ever wanted.
the that first night I got the call from Samantha, I was at my lowest point. I wanted to hide in a bottle again, and I was taking drugs, for God's sakes. That's not me. But look, don't get me wrong. I've thought about this for so long. As long as she's been gone, I thought about this moment right here, right now. And it was going to end up in one of two ways. But then I heard her voice again. And that first night, I thought, all right, I've lost it completely. I overdosed on whatever the fuck this shit I just took was. And finally, it's happened. And I just accepted it. I lived in that bliss. I accepted that bliss. You know, oh, God. I feel like I'm going to puke. Do you feel like you're going to puke? I feel like I'm going to puke. So I enjoyed the bliss for a good solid 24 hours. And it hit me better than any drink I'd ever had. But it wasn't long until I knew it wasn't real. You know? And I knew I had to talk to you, but like I was afraid of it going away, even though it was gonna go away, because that's just how fucking life works. At least for me. And that night, I couldn't sleep. And she did as she did many nights before. She knew and woke up and saw me, and I talked to her. I said, hey, I let it spill. I told her everything. What happened, and she just gave me that look that I hadn't seen in decades. And she said, John, even if that is real, even if that did happen in your nightmare, it happens. Worse things happen, good things happen. That's life. It's part of living. And it sucks. But I don't hold a grudge against you for thinking that dream, that nightmare happening. And if it's as real as it is to you, and it's real to you, it's in your heart and it's real to you, it's just know I forgive you. Because it's not your fault. But God, it feels like it is. And she said, you gotta forgive yourself. You've gotta forgive. Otherwise, that hatred's gonna kill you. That pain's gonna kill you. It's gonna get worse, and it's not gonna get better. She forgave me. And that next morning, I came to your bar because you're the first person I needed to talk to. You're the first person I could think of that could believe all this. Because I couldn't live in fantasy. And I couldn't live in that hurt, and I couldn't live for revenge. I couldn't live. And I forgive you. It is what it is. But as much as I've been dying over this that I've been dealing with, I can't imagine what you're dealing with.
When I saw Ami with that knife,
Yeah. They say a man who goes out for revenge needs to dig 2 graves. And God, I've been digging for damn near 30 years now. I don't know.
thanks, John.
I need a drink.
Me too. Let's see if Graham's up.
Yeah.
As the two of you have started to finish your conversation, it has slowly started to rain, lightly at first and a little harder as it goes on. It drips over you in the covering underneath the stoop, but the water is starting to pool around your feet as the two of you step out into the street and approach the mirror. Lexi, please take 1 tier off of your wounded status and add 1 more to your healed. And gotta go find Job's secret pain. So your secret pain was a bit of a little up in the air. But basically, it will be who will win, vengeance or peace. I'd say this counts as you starting your journey on your secret pain, because even if you forgive Lexi, there's still that entire part of your life missing. Also, Father John, one of your identities is Crash and Burn. I have, I'm sorry, not Crash and Burn. Man on a mission. This community is the ticket to whoever killed my family. This feels like, to me, what is known in this game as the end of a road, or end of the road. If your identity ever becomes resolved, rephrase it in the same spirit to describe a new goal, a greater scope, a new angle, etc. Alternatively, if this aspect of your life truly ended, you may replace this identity's theme. So we'll leave that until the end of this session before you do any of that. But I want you to know that I feel like you have reached the end of where this identity is. And if you want to rephrase it or recreate it, I think this is an appropriate time in your character arc to do that.
Okay.
And so it could be you keep the same tags, but you rephrase your identity as how this has changed you as a person, because obviously your life and the whole reason you joined the church in the first place was to find your family's killer, and you pretty much have. You haven't
So
met the man himself, but you know the answers now.
So with the compassion that he's pushing himself to accept because he heard the good word from an angel, maybe it can go from this community is my ticket to whomever killed my family and just be this community is my family.
I think that's a good way of putting it. Because that certainly becomes, if you, if you embrace the fact that, the killer is right in front of you, that means you can add attention to that particular paratag or paraset. But if you turn against your quote unquote family, then that's certainly one way that this identity could crack. Speaking of which, actually not speaking of which at all, Ami Ortelia, you've had a pretty rough day. How are you coping?
Ami probably would have went immediately home. Probably checked on all of her computer stuff, make sure everything's running the way that it's supposed to, and then immediately went to her grandmother's house. She would have probably spent the evening there, curled up in her grandmother's hospital bed for her, like with her, for some sort of comfort. And if it's like a daytime, I'm assuming, because you said we were leaving in the early morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she would have just dismissed probably all of the nurses and medical staff that is there, and kind of just maintained all of that herself. She would have probably pushed herself a little bit too much and stayed awake and not slept. She would have definitely made a point to like wash her grandmother's hair and comb it just the way she likes it. And then kind of as evening was approaching and the next shift of nurses came in, she probably towards the end of the night would have, as she was heading towards the bar, leaned down, kissed her grandmother on the forehead, and whispered in her ear, "You know, it's okay if you want to go. I wouldn't be mad at you. I think I'd be okay. But I guess we'll figure that out, right?" And she will leave a book that she got from because she had picked up a couple books while she was at the bookstore. And she will pick up the book about mythology with all of her notes about Apollo and all of the things and like all of her little notes that she had scratched in like all of the stuff and like circled. She would have just left that there with her. And that's all.
Is there anything in particular that you wanted to do in this downtime as a mechanical move? You're muted again.
She is attempting to resolve her pain.
Okay.
So
Where do you think, where does your mind shift in this moment of directly addressing your grandmother about her death for maybe not for the first time, but the most frank way you've done in a long time?
Ami at this point she is emotionally exhausted.
Mhm.
she has no ability to continue like holding on to what everyone else's shit is, including like her grandmother, because she has hit a point where she's like barely holding on herself. So instead of doing harm in her mind, instead of doing harm to her grandmother, which is what it's beginning to feel like, she is consistently putting her more and more in harm's way. She is like not interested in that at all. So she is attempting to move through some of that experience and into like whatever we kind of have to do to get done with this is like what we've got to do. And she's not going to risk her grandmother anymore for it.
Does Ami think that either Ami is the one who is holding on too long, or that her grandmother is holding on for Ami?
Ami definitely thinks she's holding on. She's probably been aware of that subconsciously for a really long time. She's been like filtering money and finance into like various ways to keep this woman alive. So like she has been holding on to her for much longer than her grandmother has probably been holding on to living.
Okay. I'll say, because that's a step in I don't want to say the right direction, but it's a shift in the way that you as a character are going to deal with your pain, is realizing that perhaps you're being selfish in the way that you are holding on to your grandmother in a way that doesn't honor her in the way that you want her to be remembered. That feel about appropriate? So
Yeah,
feel free to
absolutely.
add another tier to healed and take one off of wounded. And we're going to take a quick break before we move on, but we will see you at 11, and we will continue onward. See you soon. Hello, and welcome back to Madness Calls It Forth, the City of Mist campaign based on the Knights of Paynetown. Last we left our adventurers, there were some emotional progress made. But now the team are meeting up around midnight at the city library to meet with a mysterious figure who might have some answers. Ami, what are you doing here?
Yeah, so Ami would have grabbed her bag of all of her fucking weird doomsday prepper materials, and headed to the bar, with the intention of meeting up with everybody to head to the library. And when we got there, she would just kind of look to everybody and kind of walk up to the front door of it and just tug on it and see if she can walk in.
I think it'd be unlocked.
You walk up, and as soon as you're about to touch the door handle, someone will open the door from the inside.
Cool. She will.
Boom.
So, from inside the library, with some dim lighting on, you see the chubby and mild-mannered librarian, Fadi Malek. Come in. I've been expecting you. I'm glad you've decided to take me up on my offer.
Like a cranky teenager, she will begrudgingly walk through the door with like an eye roll and like a look back to the group of just like, here we go.
Lexi will give her a nod.
Yeah. I'll follow.
It seems the four of you have been interested in Corbin Payne. And I must ask, what brought you to look into this man?
I mean, honestly, for me, it sounds like he's into some shit that's going to do a lot of bad to this city.
You could say that.
I can't let that happen.
As the door closes and the sound of the rain stifles a little bit, he walks you down the long, dark corridors in the library. The city library is old and ancient and built into one of the, probably one of the oldest stone skyscrapers in the building. The first 3 or 4 stories are the city library with other offices above them. Everything here is outdated, as most libraries are, but it is a kind of vintage charm of a city library that you'll expect. And out of one of the corners of the room, as you approach the circulation desk, crawls a small creature.
Like a child?
Nope. This is, in fact, a lizard. It is a iguana, incredibly large, almost as large as a cat. And the iguana curls around the corner of the circulation desk and crawls up onto one of the chairs in the room.
I mean, Ami, you've been here before us. Is this who we're supposed to talk to?
I'm not sure if it's the iguana or the librarian, but I would assume, I would hope, was the human.
Oh, worry not about Spike. You won't have to worry about him at all, unless things go a bit awry here.
That's ominous.
I hope you took my advice and came prepared.
We're as prepared as we're going to get, I think.
Okay.
I'm following her lead.
As I'm sure you understand, I had to deny your access to any of the information about Corbin Payne, as he is a very special individual. As I'm sure you discovered, certain things in this city are controlling all the knowledge about him. And I, for one, believe that anyone interested in him is a danger to the city. That is why I've devised a very specific test. We've been looking into information about Corbin Payne. Do you know about the story of the weighing of the heart?
Anubis, right?
Something like that.
You gonna feed our soul to your lizard? Is that what we're doing?
Absolutely not. However, souls before entering the afterlife, their hearts were weighed against that of a feather. If they were pure of heart, the feather would fall, and their heart would be lighter than a feather, proving they were worthy for journey into the afterlife. However, if they were not worthy, Amit, the devourer of the dead, would consume their soul. And that is the
Point to
price. That is the price you pay if you are looking for information about Corbin Payne. Now, mechanically, y'all, you are welcome to take the risk in this ceremony, where only power tags of kindness, compassion, and purity of intention are helpful. If you have the healed status, it also applies. Anyone without any such tags or statuses cannot even attempt the move and are automatically deemed unworthy.
Since we just talked about mine, do I? Because we never actually gave a hidden pain or healed specifically yet, except for 10 minutes ago. So mechanically, what would I be at?
I'd say with I'll say the beginning of either of them, you're at a 5 in your pain and a 1 in your healed status.
All right, just so I'm aware, since that's actually something that's coming to play now. So
I've allowed you all to recover all of your burnt power tags. But if any of you would like to begin, he can start the ceremony with one of you first.
So what do we do?
As you ask this, you're going to see, kind of similar to the way that Lexi's mythos manifests, you'll see Thoth as a giant baboon and kind of flicker behind Fadi, and he'll turn to you and say, "Well, I will use the powers that I have to remove your heart and weigh it against this feather." And he points towards a set of scales where a single black feather rests on one side.
I mean, I guess I'll go first, unless anybody else wants to. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know how this is going to turn out for me. I've been a pretty shitty person.
Okay. You ready?
No, so let's do this.
As the lights in the library flicker ever so slightly, he will put his hand over your chest, and with a slight pain and the feeling of something being wrenched from you, he will hold your heart out. You'll pull it out from your chest, and you'll feel kind of like what you imagine it feels like to have your mythos ripped from you. You feel dull inside, but you watch as he places your heart on the scales and sets it against the feather. Father John, please roll Take the Risk using any power tags of kindness, compassion, and purity of intention. +1 for your healed status.
Okay. I guess compassionate, and honestly, this is, I guess, the most perfect time to have a power tag called Have a Heart to Heart. So we'll go ahead and check that one. Always watching our backs.
I'd say that counts.
A righteous man.
Sure.
And I'm not going to do Can't Take My Soul or My Life or My Soul. That doesn't seem appropriate. So, a silver cross? No.
That's
I think
just an item.
those- yeah. No, I think just the 3, and then the other tag.
Mm-hmm.
So. And you said take a risk, right?
Correct.
As he sees his heart being like moved towards the scales, he looks at everyone and goes, then he looks at Ami. It's like, just in case. I'm so sorry.
You've,
14.
And with just barely a moment's hesitation, the feather falls and your heart rises. Fadi looks at you. He takes the heart back and presses it back into your chest, where this time you feel light. You feel pure. You feel that you have passed this test. And Fadi looks at you with a bit of pride and simply says, "Tell me, Father, have you always been so holy?"
God, no.
Be careful.
I don't think I'm.
You're taking God's name in vain.
He wiped out an entire world by drowning them. He's fine with it.
Well,
He works in mysterious ways, as we say.
it seems
Hey.
that you are pure of heart. And I will trust you and your team. We'll do with this information only as needed. And after this scene, since you have been proven pure, as long as one of you is found worthy, he will decrypt all of the files for you, Ami. And you can ask any questions you'd like about the past of Corbin Payne. So I will treat this just like an investigate move. If you have questions about Corbin Payne's history, I will tell you as much as I can.
I don't know. I gotta sit down. I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna sit down for a second. But I mean, I can let you guys take the lead on this. I have more faith in you than I do in myself. I barely know what the hell I'm doing from day to day, so.
Ami, you're the one who's gotten stuck on the investigations. Do you remember what you were trying to ask before you got stuck?
We were trying to figure out who and what he was, to be fair. It was all faced with a lot of big question marks. He held a lot of property. I believe that at one point he was part of the apartment building, I think, of that somebody lived in. He basically has had his hands in every aspect of the city, but nobody knows how or why. I know that Celine was looking into his financials. I was looking into who he was. So I guess the question is, who the fuck is Corbin Payne?
Okay. You go back through the records and you find information that you found before, such as Payne was a self-made man. He was from an immigrant family and grew up in Cross End, and became a businessman, a philanthropist, and a playboy. And for many years, he was the man. He was known. The town was known as Paynetown because he built the city from the ground up. And so, throughout the years, you can tell from deep research as you get into it. You turn up some photos and some memoirs depicting Payne when he was young as energetic, sanguine, and life-loving, who grew up to be a boisterous and industrious man with a work-hard, play-hard mentality. However, you also find in those memoirs that it was theorized that there was a growing emptiness in his life. Despite going to many charity galas and building and his business growing and growing throughout the years, he seemed to take a step away from the things that he had once found joy in, and it drove him to seek and expand outwardly, but day by day it was assumed that he was getting distant, more and more distant from the world. All that he could do was not enough to fill whatever void was opening in his soul. One sec. One of the things you find that you couldn't find before was where he disappeared. Beyond his beginning years, you couldn't find much information about what happened to him. And you find that at the height of his success, Corbin Payne was shot in the gut, some might even say the groin, by an unidentified shooter who was never caught. Though the police looked for weeks, there was never even a potential shooter found. And the night of a charity gala, he stepped out of his limousine and was shot in the gut. He did not die, but the shot left him permanently disabled, and his emptiness only grew from there. God damn it, Vermin. This event is very faded by time, so pictures are a bit scarce at the moment. But if you wanted to look beyond the mist, I could definitely give you some more information about these incidents. You find that confined to his penthouse, Payne became a recluse and was never seen again. His company collapsed. It was broken down into subsidiaries, including the Aurora Glassworks. And roughly 2 decades later, he was found dead. And there is a bit of a smudge. There's a bit of a mystery about it. But his... no two accounts can really claim how he died. You find a death certificate that says that he died of long-term complications of his wound. But once again, if you want to look beyond the mist, you're welcome to do so. And I will say, because Celine's not here, that of the information you find, most of the city still bears his name in various buildings and places throughout the town. Even if people don't realize that's what it's from. The one thing that Celine finds through this new information is that Payne's greatest and most megalomaniac construction project, Corbin Tower, came to a halt shortly after the accident, and there is no record of completion or demolition, nor any record of the construction site or architectural plans that anyone in Celine's company can find.
Shit.
So is that a question we can ask, is where the hell that is?
As I said, you can definitely... You can ask either Fadi, you can ask as a looking through the mists move, or if you want to roll an actual investigation move, I can also help you out there.
Yeah, I guess I can. I don't know what I can add to investigation. I guess catch overlooked details. That might be it. 11 for investigate.
Damn. What are you asking?
So where was this tower supposed to be?
That's something that you can't find in any of the records. There is something beyond even Fadi's magic is obscuring the location of Corbin Tower.
What do you want to bet? That's why we can only go there once.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Ami, what was it that Dr. Knight said about him? That he wasn't a man anymore? He was just story?
An avatar.
What?
Like the
What's
tall
an
blue cat
avatar?
people? I'm guessing not like from the movie. It's something else. Buddy,
Yes?
you able to fill us in on that one?
You want to know about avatars?
Yeah.
Let me see if I have any notes on the matter. And he takes his time looking through his notes. As I look through my actual notes. He comes to you and says, now this is something that goes beyond my normal knowledge, but from what I have experienced in my years in the city, I can tell you that people like us, we have a connection to some sort of power. Some people find connections to stories, and that story slowly tries to control you. You're still a part of the city, and yet you are a power that for the story, not necessarily of the story. You find people in the city find they are pushed to repeat stories of the past, of our myths and our legends. And if you give in to that power, well, it can consume you. It wants you to recreate the steps of its past. If you give in too hard, and you lose sight of what it means to be a citizen of this city, if you lose all your connections to the world as it really is, you may ascend beyond your human form. As your story consumes you, that is what I have heard called an avatar. If their power consumes them, they are pushed every day to live out their story. And that's never a good thing. Sure, you may have some inkling of a memory about what you once were, but you are no longer yourself. Does that make sense?
Suddenly feels dangerous not to know who's pulling the strings for me.
Avatars have a lot of control in this city. There may be more than you realize. But Corbin Payne is one of the oldest and one of the avatars with the most control, because everyone has a pain. No matter who they are and how much power they have, everyone in this city is pained in some way. And agony can control us. You know, as they say, misery loves company.
I guess. So right now we know who Corbin Dallas is, or at least was. So, the hell is he now?
How do you mean?
If he's an avatar, he is the story.
I don't
So
know much
what-
about him, but I'm sure you could look into that story. What do you know about him?
He's a builder.
That's what he was before, but what changed?
He's got a grail.
Okay.
The Holy Grail.
There's several stories that have to do with the Holy Grail. King Arthur comes to mind, obviously.
Well,
Indiana Jones.
it wouldn't be King Arthur, though, right? He's
I don't
a
know.
good guy, right? Corbin Payne seems to break everybody he meets.
Let's see. So you were telling me that he was shot through the groin, and he holds the Grail.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm like, I mean, I can just tell you, but
I'm looking it up right now. The Wounded King, or the Maimed King, or the Fisher King.
The Fisher King.
But I don't know anything about that besides, like, I've literally got the Wikipedia article open. Drop that in chat for y'all.
it's entirely possible that you're referring to the Fisher King.
Who?
It's a story in the King Arthur legend. He's not necessarily evil, but he was maimed in much the same way. And if you say he has the Holy Grail, well, I'm sorry, Father, I'm not sure I believe in the Holy. But it's certainly a relic of some power.
Well, at least we're at a library, and Lexi is... I'm gonna go on mute while Lexi goes to find books about the Fisher King.
Okay. You find that the Fisher King, or the Wounded King...
Oh, no, I will just do the research and I will come back and talk about it as Lexi.
Yeah, okay. As you do more research into the Fisher King, John, you're going to find information that has to do with the shooting. And as you search deeper and deeper into this story, you find that you're realizing the old photos of this incident. You find one very faded one, but you swear that this shooter in one single photograph looks like it might be Corbin Payne himself.
Wait, what? The shooter is Corbin Payne, or maybe just look? Is it like a relative, maybe, or?
Are you asking the group?
I mean, I'll show everyone.
Fadi
Like, am I
Malek will
crazy?
look at you and say, it's distinctly possible that it is a conjuration of some kind. This might be the very instant when he was turned into a rift like you and I. Perhaps it was not someone who injured him in this way, but simply his rift presenting itself for the first time. In order to play out the story of the Fisher King, Corbin Payne had to be maimed, just like the Fisher King was. Tell me, were there any other relics you found in your research?
I mean, Celine's found one.
And Celine will pull out Excalibur, and it'll morph in a metallic form and become a sword Excalibur, which she'll lay on the circulation desk for Fadi to investigate. Now, this is obviously interesting, he says. As you say, King Arthur could be good, but as I've mentioned, the Fisher King was not necessarily evil. Just because someone follows a certain path in a certain story does not mean that they're good or bad. So, I can't say anything about you, Celine, but, well, just because you have the sword of King Arthur does not necessarily mean you are following in his story, or even that you're good or bad based on his story. I don't believe that the sword Excalibur is here to direct you in the right way, but perhaps you could find another way. You can create a quest to find this tower of yours.
So, question, and I'm not sure if we can go back enough, but did anybody pick up that dagger from the ground?
The cool gold dagger?
Yeah. The one that was like filigreed.
The Ekaj said that Father John picked it up.
Because he lost the other one.
Okay, then I will elbow Father John and say, can you hand him the knife that the guy was doing the things with?
Oh, this thing? And he pulls out the dagger.
How fascinating. I feel like I've seen a picture of this somewhere. Quick, let me look into this for you. And he steals one of the books that Lexi is flipping through and flips through the book's pages till he finds what he's looking for, which is a ancient depiction of the knife that you hold in your hands. He says this is supposedly Galahad's dagger. Perhaps this is a way we can connect with the story of the Fisher King.
It's been a while since I've seen Monty Python. The hell does this mean?
Well, this is a relic of divination.
Lexi, I think that's something right up your alley, from what you've been telling us.
Or
not Lexi, sorry, Ami.
Ami, do you want to do anything with the dagger?
Yeah, she will take it and attempt to, I don't know, expand her senses with it.
I like that. Why don't you... Why don't you just roll to investigate with me for me? and see what you can find out about this dagger.
Can I use any of my mythos tags?
Of course you can.
I didn't know if there was anything magical happening to where this guy did not want us doing that.
Nope. He's giving you free reign.
So I'm gonna use the flashes of what was here before
Okay.
and flashes of other parts of the city.
Okay.
Do I need to be worried about hurting anybody, like, with my movements? Because if so, then I would use my spatial awareness so that I'm not hurting anyone.
I'll allow it. It feels appropriate because you are trying to use it to track down a missing location. That's a 9. It's still a success.
9.
You can choose one of the items below, and you can ask me a question if you like.
I mean, I feel like the simple question would be, where is this tower and how do we get there? But
The
I'm gonna
very
ask-
first thing you see is
Okay.
a flash of a scene you've seen on several occasions before. You see the street in front of you is ripped bare, and people around you are panicking. This is the same riot you've seen on several occasions, and it sends adrenaline through your veins as you see it. But in this vision, you're holding the Galahad's dagger, and as you do, you feel as it tugs you in one direction, and as you tug it around, it points specifically down the road in the opposite direction. And in this vision, the scene shifts and morphs. Buildings fall to the ground and rise up, and you are in front of a misty field. Beyond the mist is a towering Goliath, a completely built and beautiful, gorgeous skyscraper in golds and silvers that reaches up into the heavens. And the dagger tugs at you to go down the street towards it.
Okay, but what if I just, like, let it take me?
You take a few steps as it points in the right direction. You find yourself back in the library, but the dagger is still pointing directly in front of you.
I'm not going to move my hand, but I'm pointing directly at anybody
Nope.
and explain what I just saw and quietly say, if we are looking for a direction, it is that way.
Then I think it is time for you to go. If you need anything else, you know where to find me. And this scene fades as we watch the four of you venture out into the dark city. The yellow lights overhead fill the air with a kind of orange glow, and you are guided through the city towards something that you know isn't there. But as you walk, the mist starts to come in around you from all angles. You push onward and find yourself at a bank of mist that's so high that you can't see where it leads. You're in a part of the city you've never seen before, and you don't know what is on the other end of this bank of fog. Lexi, what information did you find about the Fisher King?
Lexi comes back and says, so there's a lot of stuff, and I don't know if I'm at the end of it. And she's holding like various text. It seems like he had a story with Percival. He was wounded in the leg or the groin. His kingdom was in ruin, but he held the Grail at his castle. Corbinic, as it happens. He may be the grandfather of Galahad, but the gist of it is he can be healed if you ask him the right question. And depending on the translation, it sometimes is who does the Grail serve? And sometimes it is who is served by the Grail. Is there anything, because I posted a bunch of stuff in our chat, is there anything in here that I should definitely share that I'm not sharing right now? Anything about Percival or Gawain or...
I think at this point you've told all the information that you can find, that you know, but as you're already also aware, the connections between stories and riffs is not always as direct as one would hope. Certainly all of this is relevant information, but you're not sure what is the important stuff and what is true to history versus what is true to the story versus true to Corbin Payne.
Yeah. At any rate, his role in the stories is as the Grail Keeper. And having an audience with him gives you the opportunity to pass his test. And a lot of people fail his test.
So the Grail is probably like an actual thing, kind of like Selena's sword. It's not probably someone. It's
Seems that way.
okay.
It's his kit, his relic.
So I guess the next question is do we just keep walking?
Is there anything else we need to do first, or
I'm worried about walking into this. Ami, you're right. We have just been jumping in. And I have a lot of healing to do before I could even start to be comfortable facing a man like this. So maybe we can work out who some of the other Grail Knights were. Somebody knows more, and well, what do you see coming? You never said. Just that you were preparing the way that you needed to prepare.
Yeah, I see the end. I see a riot. I see the world imploding. I see everybody in chaos. Death, destruction. Everywhere.
As soon as you finish that phrase, Ami, a knot in the pit of your stomach clenches, and you fall to your knees in the most agonizing pain you've experienced, and the flashes of the past start coming fast, or flashes of the future start coming faster and faster. You can't shake that vision from your head, and it's so overbearing that it makes you want to throw up. And the rest of you start to feel it as well. The earth beneath your feet cracks, and a wave of misery washes over you. You hear a crash from the street, a bike running into a bodega, and for a moment you think maybe that's it. Then there's a scream, and elsewhere an agonizing wail, and all of a sudden the smell of something burnt from downtown. You hear an explosion a few blocks away, and then feel the ground shudder below your feet, ready to erupt. It's happening. It has begun. Pain is here. And as the lights flicker, you see a man in a purple shirt, and he has his suit jacket thrown over one shoulder. As he approaches you from further down the street, everywhere he goes, the city seems to bend at his whim. There are water pipes that burst out of the street, and there are glass that shatters from window to window. As Corbin Payne in the flesh approaches you from the end of the street.
This is something that's actually that we all see. This is happening.
Correct. And Ami, you're realizing this in the moment, that this is one of the visions you've had of this moment happening, screaming. The sky is a burnt orange color from the flickering of the street lamps, and the world seems in turmoil.
He will, in between gasping breaths, turn to everybody and say, "This is it. This is the start of the end, I guess."
The one frickin' time we decide to not rush into it. Of course.
I want to change the game.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I grab Ami's hand. I see that she's hyperventilating. And I say, "We're not leaving anybody behind this time. We're here for each other, and we're gonna get through this, okay? I've got your back." And I wanna, if it's okay with you, I wanna give you a status. Feel free to spend hurt on me if you want to. But yeah. Yeah. Oh, I tagged healed, but it would still be a 10. So. Ami, what feels right as a tag to give you here for going into whatever comes next?
Oh god, I have no idea. She's literally living all of her worst nightmares in the moment, so,
How about Clarity 3?
that would be good. Yeah.
I don't think I can give you Trusting, but I can at least get you to Clarity.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. Great.
I don't know what the hell we're supposed to do. Anybody got any suggestions? Or
I shouldn't hit the man real hard, right?
Maybe not for the first little bit. Maybe let's see.
I mean, in the story, you talk to him. Do we talk to him?
I'm gonna pick up a stone, just like a small pebble, and chuck it in his general direction and say, "Hey, over here."
You see his eyes glow in a way that eyes should not glow. And he looks at you straight in the eyes, Ami. He waves his hand, and out from one of the alleyways hurtles a large green dumpster that slams into both Lexi and John, hurtling them across the street, clearing the way for Corbin to approach. I want both John and Lexi to roll to face danger.
Is it still raining?
Yes.
Love to hear it. I'll take it. That's an 8 from me.
That's a 7 for me.
Okay. Both of you rolled 7s and 9s, so you're both going to take only a tier 2 status of Winded. And you're going to watch as Corbin Payne addresses Ami simply by raising his hand. And Ami, you feel the dolorous stroke for the first time directed directly at you. If you remember what it was like in our third episode when Celine was inflicted with a pain so terrible, it's much like that, but exponentially worse. It digs deep into your secret pain and latches onto you. You can use face danger to try to deflect this, but you are going to take a dolorous stroke equal to the tier of your wounded status, which I believe is 4 right now.
Yeah, I will try to lessen that by facing danger. Do you want to know which tags I am using to help? Or
Yes,
no?
please.
Or can I not? Okay, alright. Just making sure. So I'm gonna do feel it in the air,
Okay.
the spatial awareness, and act just before it happens.
I'm going to say that spatial awareness does not count.
Okay.
And because this is you can try to mentally push this out, but there's not a physical reaction for you to make, so the act before it happens also probably is not appropriate.
Check. 9.
Okay. On a 7 to 9, you take the status, but with -1 tier. You are going to take the Dolorous Stroke, tier 3. In Arthurian legend, the Dolorous Stroke is the strike that maimed the Fisher King permanently. For Corbin Payne, it is both the self-inflicted blow that ruined him and the means by which he passes on his pain to others. The Dolorous Stroke permanently amplifies the recipient's emotional or physical pain on a legendary scale, driving her to hurt others and herself, or both. In most cases, it turns a recipient into a villain. In game terms, the Dolorous Stroke is a tier 6 status. Until it reaches tier 6, you do not lose any of your themes, but you are, at this point, compelled to cause pain, to spread pain, and to make others shoulder the burden of your own pain. Tell me, how does Ami react to this?
Can Ami do something dumb?
You can try.
Can Ami hit with all you've got, but against Corbin Payne? I mean, I would even take, like, change the game or something. I don't know, I guess. That would work as well.
Are you thinking of change the game or stop holding back?
Maybe stop holding back. I feel like I've read all of them and they all feel relevant, so...
Yeah, they definitely do.
Whichever one you feel is most appropriate.
I guess stop holding back? We'll go with that one. Sure.
So to stop holding back, I'm going to tell you a price, a sacrifice.
Or wait, that stop holding back uses logos, not mythos, right?
It uses logos, but it is how you are using your powers in a new and unseen, a never before seen way or scale.
Okay. I don't know that my logos is relevant for what I'm attempting. But we
No,
can
but
try
it's
anyway.
not. You're not using your logos power tags. You're just using the number of your logos.
Oh, okay. Check.
So you are the stop holding back move is you using your powers, your mythos powers, but the mechanics are you roll adding the number of logos theme cards you have.
Check.
Would she get
Okay.
to add Dolorous Stroke to that roll? If it's situationally appropriate?
No. I'm gonna call it as a no.
Could we add health points to that one? Or
I've
offer
got
health
diddly
points?
squat. I've got hurt on Ami actually right now.
Yeah.
I'm also not gonna tell you if this will or will not be successful
That's fine. Okay, so
because
I'm
you are
adding
facing off
2.
against the big bad.
Yeah, I don't want this. I mean, even if I'm not successful, she's doing it to make a point.
Before you roll, let me know what it is you're doing and what is the new thing we're seeing with your powers.
So I would say probably nobody would see anything. Ami would probably run forward and attempt to make some sort of physical contact with him, whether it's just like spearing him in the stomach or grabbing an arm or whatever. And she would attempt to use her expanding senses and her space-time warping to drag him back to his like childhood memories of like all of his good moments. and I will whisper in his ear, "If you think you're gonna take it from me, I'll take it from you first." And then zap him right back.
Okay.
Essentially, she is trying to hurt people, but she is not trying to hurt her friends. She's trying to hurt him.
It's certainly one way to make him taste his own medicine.
Yes. And then it's... What did we decide? Hit with all you've got? No.
No, it's stop holding back with a
Stop
+2.
holding back. Just kidding. I'll figure it out.
Wait, but before we look at that, what was the sacrifice level?
Oh, right, we need to do
Oh.
that.
Right.
Thank you for reminding me how the rules work.
I'm covering it up because I don't know what it says yet either.
Me too.
I'll go with a no return.
Okay.
Okay. That was a 9.
On a 7 through 9, you are going to replace one theme. It can be either a mythos theme or a logos theme, depending on how you think that what's most appropriate. Are you giving up the your connection to your mythos, or are you pushing yourself further into your mythos and giving up your connection to the real world?
Yeah, I would venture to say this would be her pushing into mythos for sure.
Okay. We will...
Because I think this is like one of the first times she's ever tried to use it against somebody in like a malicious way.
We will decide what that means in a moment.
Okay.
It might be your hipster one, which feels more appropriate, but because it feels very antithetical to I want people to accept and admire in my eccentricity. But for now, technically you succeed, and the time around you shifts in a new way. The world slows down, and the rain even seems to stop in its tracks as you try your best to push through and inflict pain on Corbin. However, in an instant, the world comes hurtling towards you, and time speeds up again. The earth revolves up and around Corbin and shields him from your hit. In fact, the very fact that you tried to inflict pain on others, I'm gonna need you to roll to face danger again as you face Corbin once again, trying your best to push it against him, and his overwhelming legendary pain pushes back harder. He is invincible and takes no damage from that. But if you could roll, you're going to roll to face danger. Your dolorous stroke is going to work against that. So -4 for your tier 4 dolorous stroke status.
3.
It should be tier 3 because she got a partial success.
Correct.
I will take the full status.
You're once again going to take the tier 4 status of dolorous stroke, which should bring you back up to tier 4. Just add 4 ticks and see where it winds you up. Yeah, you should be in tier 4 by now. And that crushing pain of wanting to hurt others really hits you this time. And as you fall to the ground where your attempt to hurt Corbin Payne, we see the city on fire around you. And Corbin Payne turns and walks away. And unfortunately, this is where we end this particular episode. I have been Proper Nerdy, your game master for the evening, and I'm sure you have even more questions than you started with. But hopefully, we can answer those soon. If we could go in overlay order, you can give me your final remarks, tell me how much you fucking hate me for this particular episode, and the godlike shit that I decided to pull, aka the book told me to pull. And tell me what your character does as the credits roll.
Yeah, hi, I'm Chrissy. I played Ami Ortelia. As the credits are rolling, she is probably screaming into the night. Like, probably uncomfortably. Not emoting in a healthy way. Not even an iota.
Where can we find you, Chrissy, in a healthy way? And
All over the internet.
what shows are coming up for you?
Yeah, so you can find me all over the internet at Chrissy Crits on all social media. You can find me here this week. So many days. I'm here so many days. Tomorrow for Oath Sworn. Thursday
Sworn.
for Oath Sworn. Thursday for Tyranny of Dragons. And Saturday for our return, our sequel to Dungeon Bitches. So that's happening on Saturday. Yeah, I'm gonna have sex with so many people on Saturday on stream. It's gonna be great. Next up.
But definitely within the Twitch TOS.
Yeah, sure. And with lots of consent. Lots of self-care and consent.
Hey, y'all. I'm Legendary Vermin, and tonight I was Alexei Wojciechowski, the Rift of Grendel's mother, but she doesn't know that yet. I think as the credits roll, we see Lexi hoist the dumpster, and maybe we don't even see her hoist it. We just see like the shot of Ami on the ground. Dumpster impales itself in like the side of a building. As like we hear Lexi's footsteps approach Ami. You can find me. I'm Legendary Vermin. You can find me as Legendary Vermin on all the places on the internet that matter. That is, of course, Itch, Twitch, Twitter, and thank you, Tate Washburn, YouTube. I make games. You can find those on Itch. I make shows like this as a participant. You can find my schedule on legendaryvermin.com/live. My schedule is now up to date, so that's very exciting. And if you're ever curious what else I've been up to and want to watch replays of this show and many others, I have a collection on YouTube of all of my past escapades in one big long playlist. So feel free to check any of those out. Yeah, that's it for me.
Hey everyone, Ekash the Orc here. And with Father John, it's been a hell of an episode. I think he just kind of stares dumbfounded and like lost as to what's going to happen as he sees Ami screaming into the night as the embers of the city reflect on her. But on that happy note, if you're interested in things that I do, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me occasionally on Twitch. I'm working on thinking about getting streaming going for that on my own. And aside from City of Mist, most importantly, the next thing I'm going to be in, Next Tuesday, the 15th, season 3 of Harper's is starting, y'all. Harper's Variants, and you'll be able to see me showing up in that, and I can't wait.
It's going to be very different than it was before, so I'm excited to
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, if you're a fan of just, honestly, if you're just a fan of a lot of everything, characters and TTRPGs, tune in, because I don't even know what the hell's going to happen, but I'm excited. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on the Discord. Join the Discord if you haven't yet. You'll find me there, joining in and making memes and just having a hoot.
Thank you very much, all of you, for playing. It was a bit of a roller coaster of an episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I am Proper Nerdy. I'm your game master for this evening, and for all of Madness Calls It Forth. This has been a City of Mist campaign based on Knights of Paynetown. There will be a new episode in 4 weeks. Same time, same place. I also make games on itch.io. You can find them on my itch.io page. Plus, at the end of March, we are going to be play testing a new game of mine called Cataclysmal. It is a story about saviors in the end of days. And I'm very excited to try it out, even though I realized it's not done. I'm not done writing it, so it's fine. I forget who else is a part of that. I think, Christy, you're part of that, right? Who else? I forget. Anyway, it's going to be a good time. It's all about the end of the world. It's weird, but we're gonna see how it goes. And if you like our show, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like the video on YouTube and tell all your friends about it and make them watch the playlist. The more that we see those kinds of views, the more I get to make awesome content like this with awesome players like this. And I really appreciate everyone for joining us here on stream. Have yourself a lovely evening, and hopefully we'll have the full cast back around for what I'm sure is going to be even more tumultuous of a next episode, as we launch into the 3rd arc of Knights of Paynetown. And one of them is sort of a villain, isn't she? So I'll be sure. I have a lot of things to follow up on y'all with, so it'll be a good time. Have yourself a lovely evening. We might raid someone, so stick around for that, and enjoy your night.